What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another video. This is going to be part 2 of our cooling system. As you can see behind me, I got some stuff laid out on the table, got everything organized, ready to go. This is all the stuff we're going to be installing. We got our electric water pump right here. We got some wiring for the harness for the electric water pump. We got a radiator cap, some fittings, the filler neck for the coolant housing, the upper housing. We got some Honda bond, which we're going to be needing, and we got a water plate with the alternator bracket. So all this stuff was actually from here over, was purchased through my buddy Joni over at Simply Level. So be sure to check him out. That's his Instagram, that's his page. You got all kinds of parts, everything he has on the shelf. He usually posts in his story of stuff that he has in stock. And if he doesn't have it in stock, and it's a company that he can get parts through, he can get it. So all this stuff came from him. And then of course, you know Rob, a lot of people know him from Track Tough. And find him on Instagram pretty easy. So we got the water plate from him with the alternator bracket and all that. Brand new O-ring for the coolant plate from Honda. So we're going to go ahead and get this stuff installed. Appreciate everybody that has supported me along the ways, and I look forward to the continuous support from you guys. We got a lot of big things planned out for the year of 2022, and we're just along for the ride. So let's go ahead and dive on into this video. To make my life easier for the coolant plate section, I'm actually going to go ahead and pull this headlight out to where I got some clearance through here. I was going to pull the whole entire bar off the core support, but I think I'm just going to leave that there, and I'm going to feed through the headlight section because I got plenty of room as far as distance to there, so that'll give me a little bit more leeway to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and get this headlight off and go ahead and get this finished up as far as prepped up, ready for mounting. Because like I said, still got a little bit of Honda bond from the old water pump housing that we had on there. So we'll be able to get all this stuff started up on getting it installed. So go ahead and get that guy pulled off right now. Alright, so I went ahead and prepped the surfaces. Took a straight blade, got everything cleaned off nice and smooth. Went ahead and done the head as well for the upper coolant housing. And I started freaking out because I didn't think I had the hardware for my coolant plate, which I knew I wasn't going to need the hardware for the old manual water pump and the housing and all that, because everything was just so long for the housing itself to go through. So I let all that go whenever I sold everything as a kit, and I got lucky. I found the hardware that was over on the shelf that I had where the rest of the cooling system was. So I got that set out. I'm gonna go ahead and lay down a layer of Honda bond on the block, and then we'll get that knocked out first, and then we'll work our way up to the coolant housing I'm going to try, and I apologize on a bunch of videos. I'm very bad about talking. Once I get going, I'll ramble on. Like, I will hold a conversation with you all day. So I'm going to try to make these videos a little bit better from here on out with less talk and more work, and be able to get more stuff knocked out that way, honestly. So we're going to go ahead and get the Honda laid out onto the block and go ahead and get this guy mounted up. We got to get our O-ring installed before we get this mounted. I'm going to go ahead and do that now so I don't forget, because I would be pretty upset if I went ahead and got that tightened up and forgot the O-ring. So let's go ahead and knock that out. Alright, so we got the coolant plate on there. It's mounted up. Everything's tight. Moving on to the coolant housing. So, reason why I went ahead and stopped the time lapse is to explain I won't be needing this guy. This is actually to go over to that top portion on the thermostat housing. So that's that hose that runs back over to it. We are no longer going to be needing that. So we got that capped off at the top. We're actually going to pull this off and install this little plug right here. So we got that set out to the side. So that would be the plug to cap off this section, because like I said, we won't be needing it. So I'll go ahead and get this pulled off, get that capped off, and then go ahead and get it mounted up to the head. Alright guys, so I went ahead and got all that knocked out. As you can see, I realized that when I was looking for the hardware, I mean, it was right there in front of my face. So the hardware that I did find that was in a couple clips ago, that was actually for the P Racing plate that I had purchased in the past, which is right here. Now the only difference between this and what's currently on the car is the P Racing one. That's strictly like a a racing style. So there's no bracket or nothing like that to run an alternator. It's just straight charge the battery, make a pass, shut it off at the end of the track, and then get pushed back up to the pits and charge the battery again. So I didn't want to go that route just yet because I want to be able to actually enjoy the car on the streets, take my fiance out in it and stuff like that, and get some ride along videos. Pretty much just enjoy the car because I built it to enjoy it, and I didn't want to take that route just yet. I'm gonna hold off on it for a little bit. It's actually for those that are strictly to my YouTube channel and no social media. As you can see, there is another K-Series block on the stand, and I will introduce that to you real quick. So as you can see, little CSS action, but we'll dive into that another day. So that's on the stand, ready to be built. But back to the hardware. That hardware is actually for that plate over there. It came with it, and the hardware is over here. So I had 2 longer bolts for the bottom, and then the 2 short bolts for the top of the plate. And that's because you got to add this bracket. Now this all came as a kit with Track Tough, so it came with the water plate, came with the alternator bracket. Now this allows you to run a B series alternator, and you got the billet clevis right here to adjust for the tension and everything. This little bolt actually runs right through here, so the clevis feeds up through here. For those that don't know, get a little better view. So it feeds up through here. The bolt goes to the side right here and then tightens up, and then the bottom part of the clevis actually comes down to the alternator at the top part on that one little ear, and then you got this bottom piece right here, and run the bolt through like so. So that actually goes to the bottom portion. This goes to the brackets, and then there's that bolt that I was mentioning. So that's the difference between that plate and that one over there. So I actually got the hardware swapped out off camera while I was getting ready to assemble this before mounting it up, and got it all mounted up and everything. Everything's nice and tight. Got the cap on. I had to pull this line off so I can get these fittings tightened up on the filler neck portion right here at the top. So everything, like I said, it's all nice and tight. Now it does come with the option of capping off that little breather port for a reservoir. So this guy will go actually right here. Like so. So I still got to get that tightened up, get this tightened up. But the upper coolant housing is now on, tightened down. We'll let that Honda bond set up overnight. Get the plate on, alternator bracket. Everything's tightened up. So all we really got left right now in this video, I'd like to get the water pump actually mounted up. Now it's a funny story behind this because this is actually from K-Tuned, as well as the upper coolant housing. As you can see, because all the stickers and the packaging K-Tuned. But I peeled the K-Tuned sticker off of this, because if you know, you know. They literally just slapped their own sticker on it, but this come with it. So I actually peeled the K-Tune sticker off and put the correct one on. So I really want to get that mounted up. I did not get the bracket for it because I actually wasn't precise with my wording on when I was talking to Joni. Pretty much he priced me the whole kit, the water plate and everything from K-Tuned, and I had told him that I had already purchased a water plate. I actually had this one on the way, and told him I pretty much just needed the water pump and the upper coolant housing, and that was it. So I'm assuming he thought maybe I just needed just the water pump and without the bracket, which I did need the bracket, but it's fine. We can probably mock something up. I already got an idea of how I'm going to go about doing that, because I do know the mounting place, that the actual bracket that comes with the pump. I do know how that's mounted up, so that gives me a good idea of how I'm going to mount it, or I can even mount it somewhere else. I kind of mocked it up already to see as far as fitment with the throttle body and the intercooler piping coming up to the throttle body, and the standard mounting place where it's supposed to be, everything fits. I mean, clearance wise, as far as starter and everything else, it still fits. I was kind of iffy about it because of being in an EF chassis and then running this piping up, so I was kind of limited on spacing back there, but everything fits. So we just got to make a bracket. I'm probably going to do that well, actually it's the first now, so I was going to say tomorrow. I'm going to do that later on in the day. It's roughly 2 o'clock, I believe. Oh, no, 3:23. So kind of early in the morning. I went ahead and knocked this out. So we'll go ahead and pick back up on the next clip on getting a bracket made and getting the water pump mounted up. I do have one fitting on here already. I don't know if this guy right here, which is just a straight for original standard hose, different material, but it was actually in the same packaging as this fitting right here. So I don't know if they sent me one wrong fitting or if they just come like that, because they give you that option. I know a lot of kits do, but I still needed another fitting over here, so I'll get that ordered. And then literally as soon as we get this guy mounted up, then it's literally just figure out what fittings I need as far as like 45 degrees, stuff like that, a 90 fitting. Once I get everything placed up, then that's all I got left. It's just figure out which fittings I need to fit my application, and then get some hoses ordered, some lines, and make our own coolant lines. And that'll wrap it up for the coolant system. Alright, so it's the next day. Main focus is getting the water pump mounted up. So now I have brought out some couple scrap metal that I had laying over in the corner from other projects, and I was going to try to piece together something. And I actually came up with a little bit of a better idea. I kind of like it because it's different, and it's not actually being like original to what everybody else would have done. So, you know me, I like being different. Try to make this to my own taste, and here's what I came up with. So as you can see, still got the headlight out because I still want all this opening right here, because I had intentions of mounting it down here at the bottom, but I have changed my direction on what I want to do. So I still have no hardware, still no mount to mount this guy up with. I have actually decided that I'm going to mount it up right here. So the pump's actually going to be off to the side. Now, before anybody says, Chris, why would you do that? What if you have a leak and gets under your tire? Stuff like that, or any rocks or debris hitting the pump may cause damage to it, or damage the lines or anything like that, or even weather if I'm caught out in the rain or something like that. Anything along those lines. I have thought ahead, and I'm actually gonna get it mounted up. Like I said, be right in here. I already made my marks because I found out exactly where I wanted it, but I have not drilled any holes. So it's gonna be right around in this area, and I'm going to make a shield, like a cover, with this material right here. I have a full sheet of it, and I'm gonna get it all bent up and everything to where I can use these existing mounting holes and pretty much bring it around to where it'll close off, because I was actually going to run a battery right here, so that's why these two rib nuts are here. And I'm actually going to run it around, and I may use this existing one right here that's already been done. Might as well, because judging by the placement of the pump, like I said, being right here, the wiring is going to tuck back behind it and fed up through here through this hole. But I'll get to explain all that once we get this mounted up. But my intentions are making a shield, or a cover, I guess you can say, a dust cover, to cover this guy up, to keep it out of any debris, and go from there. So I got my 2 marks made, and I'm gonna go ahead and make my holes through here, and I'm gonna show you my idea of how I'm gonna get this mounted up. Alright, so as you can see, I got my 2 holes made. I went ahead and deburred them from the inside and outside, as well as through the hole itself, like so. That way it doesn't have any effect of grabbing any kind of metal inside of the threads on the bolt and carry on inside the pump and mess the threads up, and then have to deal with that later on down the road. So I originally found this bolt, which is a tad bit longer than what I'm actually needing. It's actually extremely too long. And I figured that this material is pretty thin. I mean, it's not too thin. It's reinforced because it's part of the frame rail. But it's thin enough to where I won't need that long of a bolt. So I had found this bolt, which is a lot shorter, and it is actually going to be perfect. So my initial plan is this little hole right here. I'm going to feed through here, get the pump set up. And if my measurements are correct, once I get this one started, this one should line up. And voila. So that is actually hand tight. Pump's held up. As you can see inside there, let me get you a little bit of light. And of course, phone's dead. Ha, what a joke. But it's okay though. That's what a shop light's for. So, like I said, as you can see up in there, got the 2 bolts. They're just hand tight right now. The other one's got a couple more threads. This back one does to go, but it's hand tight, mounted up. And honestly, now that it's actually chilling in its own place, I like the placement of it. So what my initial plan is for this setup is get it mounted up. Like I said, I was going to feed the harness back up through here. And as far as fittings, I'm probably going to run a 90 off of this guy right here. Feed my line across, up under here, and then straight over to the radiator, which is, you can see the fitting right down there. And then as far as this guy, because this is the in, the out is right over here. So I'm gonna run another fitting like I mentioned, I got to order, get that, and then I'm gonna run a 45 up, and then bring the line around, and then run into a 90 here on the plate, and then call it a day right there. So that's my initial goal. So far, everything is going according to plan. And everything else will be tucked up out of the way. So like I said, I want to take that material over here and pretty much bring this shield, bring it down, and I'll probably notch it to clear around here like a C notch. And then it'll come around and cover up, and then I'll bend it to where it'll shape flat into here, and then I'll make a hole and it'll bolt up here. So I'll use these two existing bolt holes, and then wrap it around and use this rib nut. So that's the plan. So right now, looking pretty good. Just gotta get that other fitting, and then I'll be able to go ahead and start ordering my other fittings for the line portion, and then go ahead and get everything else finalized and start making the lines and stuff. So my main goal is, from now on, I want to try to, like, anything I want to do throughout videos for the car, I want to put out on the table. So whatever I have that I want to get done on a video, I want to lay it out on the table and clear the table out. So I mean, as far as the stickers and like this extra stuff, that don't count, but like the brackets, everything, the plate, all that together. I mean, I still got this. It's all gonna be wired in. I'm gonna wait until I get my wiring harness back and stuff from Wireware, because he's going to have all that set up through ignition as far as the water pump, so it doesn't accidentally get left off and run the car hot and stuff like that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this mounting spot for the water pump. I like it because it's tucked up out of the way. It doesn't clutter everything up in here. Yes, there's probably going to be vibration through this, but I have enough threads on those bolts to where I'm probably going to run like some kind of foam padding or something like that to keep from metal to metal, keep vibration from running through, and I don't want it to affect the pump in any kind of way. I don't think it will, but the stuff is not cheap, and I do not want to take a chance on ruining that pump because of vibrations. So I want to go ahead and find some kind of foam padding, maybe somewhere at Home Depot. I can find something to fit this application of what I'm trying to do. So I call that a win in my books. Got the coolant housing on, water plates on, pump is now mounted up. So now we pretty much just down the fittings, and then get some lines ordered and start making our coolant lines. So This is a 5-minute clip. I'm gonna go ahead and end this one here. I'm doing too much talking. So hopefully you guys enjoy this little update and installation video with me. This is pretty fun. I'm getting pretty excited now that everything's starting to get wrapped up and get my cooling system taken care of, because that's the last biggest thing that I really needed, because I had absolutely nothing to start with, and now we pretty much got everything set up. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. Go ahead and get this video edited and get it up for you all, because it's been about a month or so since I done part 1 on the coolant system. So hopefully you guys had an awesome Christmas, had a great New Year's. 2022 is going to be an awesome year. I mean, I can feel it. I feel the tension behind this car. It's just, I can't wait to get this thing out and start ripping on it and be able to enjoy it, because it's been a long time coming. So you guys already know what I'm about to say. Be sure to smash that like button on this video right now. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think on the mounting place and everything. Just everything in general. Just throw a comment down below. I don't care what you guys say. It could be anything good or bad. Just throw a comment. Show some support. So we'll see y'all on the next video. I'm out. Peace.